I'm not gonna lie, when I first got here and I saw all these trees down, yeah, my heart sank. Okay, here we are. I'm at the property after Helene, and yeah, it's a fucking mess. There's a ton of trees down. That tree is sitting on my generator. My friend Jeff took a video to show me this, and I was kind of worried what I was going to find when I came up to see it. And this is one of the solar panels that was on top of my RV. And what you can't see behind this green piece of equipment is my rock crushing plant, gravel plant. My neighbor sent me a picture to show me that there was a tree on it, but I didn't see how bad it was. I think I dodged a bullet. So I'm looking at it. Looks like the upright canopy, there's a conveyor belt system, is still intact, and that the arms took the brunt of the weight. That came down so hard it looks like it wanted to cut that freaking log in half. But looks like it's going to be okay. I think it's because the weight's held up on this piece right here, so it didn't go down any further. I'm really lucky. Okay. There's obviously some trees down. I don't know if this one would come down if it wouldn't have hit the trailer. It's kind of big. We're one of those. Let's see what else we got going on here. On a bright note, my tractor's okay. No trees fell on that. That's definitely a good sign. Wind blew that tote over though. Wow. Privacy for our cabin up here is gone. You can clearly see the road now. And you didn't used to be able to see that road. I'm gonna say it's probably more than just the fact that the leaves have fallen off the trees. I'll go up the mountain in a minute. I think it's almost therapeutic to start cleaning up the mess first. And as you can see, as we zoom in here, you're seeing the edge of the tree that got cut off, which left all those branches on the ground. I was worried to see what was going to be under that tarp. Now, I am undoubtedly very lucky because I've got this excavator to help me get this mess cleaned up. Because I certainly wouldn't want to try and do this all by hand. It would have taken me quite a while with that chainsaw. Okay, we're back. I just cut some of this limb. The chainsaw cut that limb that was laying on it. And this piece right here, this long one, this is what was binding up. So, this off here. So I figured I would just speed this part up a little bit to make it easier to watch because the camera was kind of shaky anyway, and I don't think there's a whole lot here to see. So thanks for bearing with me. So far it looks like the air canister took the brunt of the punishment. Go on the other side. Switch hands. Okay, so control box got kicked off a little. All in all, I think I got fucking lucky. I think I can definitely fix that air canister. So
Looks like the generator's okay. Oh, thank God. I'll have to take that apart, remount that, or at least figure out a way to do that, and then I can fix that. All right, I'm in good shape here.
So far I'm getting lucky, and things aren't nearly as bad as I thought they might be, considering the trees that were down. So it's time to get to work cleaning up this area so that it was a functional, useful space again. Now, I'm not going to say coming back up here there wasn't some disheartening feelings looking at all this mess. And, you know, it takes a little bit of work to clean it up, get these branches out of the water, and make the place more user-friendly, if you will, or like you can actually do work here again. But this was probably the first day that I had woke up here and I was able to get some work done. And I remember looking at the weather chart thinking, this is going to get ugly. I'm going to have snow on the ground soon, and I better get really hot doing this because I'm not going to have just a little bit of time and to get some of this stuff done before there's going to be snow on the ground and it's going to be miserable outside. So there was no point in delaying. I got right to work.
Now I want to say this is no big deal. And I'm looking at the wide open spaces here. That big tree that's down. And these trees that have fallen off the hill. These at least aren't my fault. What's going on here? We got a mess to clean up.
Now, truthfully, I came here and I thought, okay, I'm going to get back to my road work. I'm going to maybe mill some logs. I was thinking, hell, if I could just mill 4 or 5 logs a day, and I was going to be here almost a month, I'd have just a ton of wood for my next project. But that just wasn't going to be the case until I got this mess cleaned up. And so I did the time lapse so that you could see some of the effort that went into this. Now, one of the things I do absolutely have to acknowledge, I mean, you can see it right here. I got some nice logs out of these trees that came down. And to be honest, if you look at the height of the hill on the side of the excavator, it's really high to get up there. So some of these trees that came down, it was really beneficial. It was almost like a blessing, if you will, that the trees were able to come down and I didn't have to take them down. I didn't have to cut my way into that side of that hill, go after those trees and take them down. Because honestly, if you're going to have a road out here on the side of the mountain, you don't want trees that have potential for falling across the road, especially when this is your only way in. So the fact that they came out, it's a good thing. The fact that I got a ton of logs out of this that I can mill later, that's a great thing. But in truth, they're kind of starting to stack up. I got a lot of logs I need to process, and I don't know how I'm going to get it all done. Now, if you remember from my last video for building mountain roads, these trees were at the top of the hill, and I had gotten to a point where I had to figure out how I was going to get through them just to begin with. So the fact that Helene knocked them down, I think that kind of saved me some time and some effort. Honestly, it's almost a blessing. Add to that these are hardwood logs like oak. Yeah, it worked out good.
So that's the view down the road. I'm burning the scrap down there. All the brush. I got to restock that pile. Looks like it's going out. And then come around, see where we were up at the top of the hill. I got these stumps, I'm working them down little by little. So here's the old lightning tree, and it is really opened up here. I'm not even sure what's down from this section, but as you come around here, this mess is what I've been working on today. And there are just so many trees down that before I can get back to working on the road, I gotta clear these out. Now, I've already taken one load out, but just want you to get a feel for what's in front of me. It seems to me the logical path is going to be where the trees have fallen, try and come up through here and make this turn. I gotta get through this dirt, right? But since the trees are already out, might as well, right? Go through here. Now, that's just the last of 5 big stumps that were there. I took out the others earlier. We've still got a lot of work to do, though. And I'm thinking those trees are gonna have to come out in order to make this turn. I'm gonna restart this video on the other side.
Kind of funny how things work out. I mean, on the last video when I was doing the construction of the mountain roads, I built this platform. I carved it out here so that I would have room to work in this corner as I was making the turn to go up and around it. And it's a damn good thing I did, because with all these trees down, if I didn't have a stable base here, it would have been a lot of work just to build that stable base and then come in and try and take these trees out. So, yeah, you can see me struggling here, but I got it. That tree's coming over here. But, you know, looking at it and thinking about how big it is, it's not done just to pull it down. So I'm taking a good survey.
So here I am. I got these 2 trees, and as this was pulling down, I could see that, you know, if it got some momentum, it would crash into my excavator, so that wouldn't make much sense. So I wanted to stop and kind of get an idea of what was going on here. And I'm glad I did, because what I discovered is I've got 2 trees here connected at the root ball. Now maybe I can separate them and take them on one at a time, which would probably be ideal, because I think the weight is going to be so heavy that the excavator won't be able to do it. To, you know, pull them down, kind of like I've got this one, so that I can chop it into pieces that are more manageable. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and break this root ball up and take them one at a time, because unless I can get it on the ground, I'm not sure where to cut it so that it doesn't fly up and create a tipping hazard. Because obviously you got a lot of weight on this end, and you got a lot of weight at this end. And if the root ball comes off, maybe the weight doesn't hold it as well. Although what I could do is I could create a platform here, carve this down, move that log at the excavator over here, and grip it so that I can cut away at it. But I'm gonna start with trying to eliminate that root ball, or at least see if I can't separate these trees.
Now, one of the things I want you to notice here is that I'm working by myself. So I got the camera on a tripod or something similar, you know, and I'm doing this. I'm cutting these stumps off by myself. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use the excavator arm and the thumb to keep the log from moving when I'm taking the weight off of it, right? So, you know, it's a really invaluable piece of equipment to have for safety, if for nothing else. The other thing you're probably not seeing here, or you may not see well unless you slow it down, is I'm using a wedge to, when I saw through the logs, I don't go through it all the way, and then I jam in a wedge to keep it from dropping on me, because these logs are really heavy. You know, they're big and they're heavy, and I get hurt up here. I'm by myself. I think my phone is actually sitting inside the excavator. I'd be screwed. Anyway, you know, once you get these logs, then it's time to get them down the hill and clean up the mess that's left, because, you know, you don't have a road when you've got debris all over it. And I got to restock the fire when I'm down there so that the brush doesn't continue to pile up. Now, lucky for me, I had a big pile of brush down there from last season, from when I got, you know, about this far up the hill. So I had a lot of dry wood down there that was, you know, it's certainly not millable, and it's too small to be firewood, so it was perfect to burn.
Okay, so it's morning. It's not even 8 o'clock yet. The sun came up about half an hour ago. It's beautiful out here. I just threw some old wood onto the fire that was burning yesterday. The scraps that didn't make it into the pile. It was really nice because it was pretty convenient. There were enough coals to get it going again. I still got quite a bit of wood up here. You'll see it here in a second as we're approaching the pile. The road is coming along nicely. Still a little steep for my taste. I think that I'm going to be able to carve it down some more once I find what my ultimate depth or level is at the top of the hill. How far I can cut down is going to depend on the lithic layer and how much I can break away with the hammer. And then I'll adjust the rest of the road accordingly. I may even widen it out down there to make the approach a little easier. Some of the wood in this pile is still pretty big, but as I bring down the scraps from up there, I gotta do something with them. I don't want to just throw them over the edge. As you see, I still got some down trees. We'll eventually, once this pile is down, work a road into here and take those out, clean up the mess, take these trees that are falling down and out, salvage the logs that I can, and mill what I can for my buildings. Now, I've got these logs that were at the top. I'm still going to be working them down along with this debris, this brush. So, there's still quite a bit of work to be done. But as you can see up there, there's no root balls hanging out anymore, so that's a good sign. We got some pretty big logs here. That's pretty cool.
Getting the last of these trees off that hill, that top, and getting them cut into logs and getting the brush out of the way, that was really a nice final feature to getting back to a place where I could actually get back to building roads.
So I think the part that I sometimes have problems with is I know what I've done and I have a picture in my head of what it is that it looks like. And then I have days like this where I've finally made progress to getting back to where I thought I was before I left. Aside from those trees being down that I have to pull down and cut up into logs. But this is the road I had in my head that I thought I had in place. So now we've got a lot of this dirt that's washed down from the hills. And I've got it run down. And I've got this wide enough now that I think I can come back tomorrow and bring up the trailer with the tractor, pick up those logs, which are really firewood logs. They're small in diameter. I could probably get 4x4s out of them, but honestly, I don't want to put them up on the mill to get 4x4s. Even the oak ones, it's not worth it. I'd rather just make firewood that I can stock for when we build the house. I mean, who's got 2 to 3 years of seasoned, dried, ready to go oak firewood? And, I mean, granted, it's not all oak, but most of it is. A lot of it is. I've been filtering out as I've been running the stuff down to the burn pile. Now, the burn pile, and it's much bigger than it looks in this picture. That's a 5-gallon gas can down there in the corner for size comparison. All you carbon emission people, sorry. It's got to go somewhere, and I'm not going to dig a hole and create an unstable base for something I want to build later. This debris pile has come down quite a bit. And I'm seeing the hill again, which is kind of cool. I got that stump up there I got to deal with. Sorry about the finger in the screen. Anyway, this is what we're looking at now. Even in the winter, and it's the end of November, so I'm going to call this winter because there has been snow on the ground. That's beautiful, isn't it? That's the sunset.
Okay, if you made it this far, you know what I'm going to ask. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. See what it's taken to get to this point. Leave a comment. Tell me about your homestead. Tell me about the challenges you've faced or the plans you have for doing something similar. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, and thank you for coming by.